Every day means every day. My name is Brandon Burns, and in today's video, I got another direct message to all the young men that are out there watching this right now. Your life will never become what you want it to be, and you, as a man, will never become who you were created to be until you forcibly remove any and all distractions that lower your own self-worth, your own self-perception, your own self-concept. Because the reason that this video was inspired is that today is February 9th at the time of recording this. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm watching so many people, like the streets here in downtown Nashville are flooded right now with these dudes with these jerseys on with somebody else's logo on it, with somebody else's name on it, and they're gathering around to go drink alcohol and lose their mind for the next 8 hours while they worship other grown men who are actually out there living their dreams and accomplishing something. And by the way, this is no disrespect to any football players, but it's not like you're that deep. Like you're throwing around a ball and you just so happen to play a sport where a lot of people enjoy watching it, and that's the only reason you get paid. It's not that it's that crazy that you can throw and catch a ball. I'm not saying it's easy, but I am saying let's not act like it's Gandhi and Mother Teresa out there like changing the world, all right? It's football. They're throwing and catching a ball to see who can do it better. But because the whole world is captured and fascinated by it, they end up making bank because of the attention that they suck, because of all of these people that it drives the economy. It's driving the bars, it's driving the restaurants, it's driving the jersey and the merch sales, it's driving the alcohol sales. All of it is tied into this, but it's the attention that makes them in that elevated place that they are. But here's my point to all of this. When you, especially as a man, when you put somebody else, another mortal man, another human being on a pedestal, when you look at a football player or a basketball player or a business person, anybody, whoever it is that you look up to, and you put them on a pedestal, what you're automatically doing in your own psychology is lowering your own status, lowering your own self-concept, lowering your own self-perception. And you look at them as if they're these superhumans and you're just a mere mortal. The problem with that is that that is a self-perpetuating identity, because once you begin to believe that, what happens? You start acting like it. You start acting like you're not worthy. You start acting like, and then what happens? You make poor decisions. You don't treat yourself with respect and admiration. You don't treat yourself as if you value yourself, and then you never get the success that you actually want. Because you psychologically put yourself on the floor. And you look up to these other people. You worship these other people. Why? Why would you not want to be the main character in your own story? Like, I know the main character energy thing is kind of overplayed these days, but genuinely ask yourself that question. Why in the world? This makes no sense to me. None. Why in the world, as a man, would you turn on the television and bow down to these people, and then you're not at the very least equally as invested in who you become and your own life and your own growth, your own development? It doesn't make sense. A lot of you are genuinely more emotionally invested in them than you are in yourself. If your team loses, you're pissed off. If your team loses, you're upset. You have a bad week because your team lost. But then when you lose, you let yourself off the hook. You're yelling, screaming, and throwing stuff when your football team loses, but then you lose, you fail, you let yourself down, you don't uphold your own standards. And then what do? You're like, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Let me go grab a beer with my buddies. And then you just numb yourself away from it. Like, how low of a perception of yourself would you have to genuinely prioritize your mind space, your mental real estate, your emotional capacity, your thoughts, your behaviors, your time, to something that doesn't matter when you have the greatest gift of all, which is the potential that God gave you, and you're just like, that is what it is. I'm going to get sucked into what these people are doing. You got to stop doing that. You've got to stop doing that. Elevate nobody else. Elevate nobody else above you. I'm not saying that you should see yourself as better than anybody else, because you shouldn't, but you should sure as hell not see anybody else as better than you. They might be further ahead. They might be more skilled in certain ways. They might be more talented in certain ways. But none of these things make them intrinsically more. They're not better. Their essence is not greater than you. Their spirit is not greater than your own. You chose to see it that way. So they might be ahead, sure, but they're not better than. And you got to make up in your mind that we're not going to play this stupid psychological game that places everybody on a pedestal but you. Your favorite little Instagram influencers on a pedestal. Your favorite rappers on a pedestal. Your favorite football players on a pedestal. Why don't you put yourself on a pedestal? Matter of fact, why don't you start living in a way that makes you worthy in your own mind of being put on a pedestal? Why don't you just live a life where you say, you know what? I'm all right. You know what? I actually respect me just as much, if not more, than anybody else. Why don't you do that? And then watch what happens to your self-confidence. Watch what happens to your bank account. Watch what happens to your relationships. You start to attract people. You start to attract opportunities. Because all of a sudden, you've become something a little bit more. And you see it. Doesn't matter if other people see it. They'll see it eventually. They're not going to have a choice. But you got to see it first. The only way you can convince yourself is through massive action. And most of you are too busy spending your time, your energy, your emotions on worshiping other mortal men than you are doing right by yourself. So I hope this is a good wake-up call. If you want help with this, go to everydaymeanseveryday.com. We'll get you in shape. We'll get your mind right, your habits right. Everything starts there. It doesn't matter if you want to make money, if you want to look good, doesn't matter. You have to start with the daily habits. You have to start with valuing, respecting, and admiring yourself. That's what we're going to help teach you how to do at everydaymeanseveryday.com. My name is Brandon Burns. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody who needs to hear it, and I'll see you on the next one. Until next time, don't forget, every day means every day.